everybody. I'm happy to meet you. My name is Nava Sarig, and I'm a tour guide in Israel and in Neot Kedumim. And I'm very happy to share with you my great love for this very special park in Israel, Neot Kedumim, the only biblical landscape preserve in the world. And you can walk in Neot Kedumim, to those who haven't been here yet, and step in trails and find plants and trees of the land of milk and honey, and restored ancient agricultural installation. And our discussion today is a special journey. I invite you to join me, and it is special because our leading topic will be an olive tree, that we can find lots of them in Neot Kedumim. And the subject is olive tree from destruction to revival. And we'll see the main role of this tree in the history and culture of the land of Israel. Are you ready to join me? Let's start. So what is the origin of the olive tree? It is the land of Israel and its surrounding. It was a very basic food here. For thousands of years, our fathers, ancestors ate bread and olive oil. And the tree was cultured 7,000 years ago here. It was here to see the empires conquering the land and going away, and all the great developments that took place here in the land of Israel. Today, Spain, Greece, and Italy are the greatest producers of the olive oil, not Israel. And it is the most mentioned tree in the Bible. Why is this tree so important? So we talked about it, that it is very basic food. It is also a preserved food, and very important role is lighting. And you can see here the candle of those days with a little wick in it and olive oil. And it was used for healing, skin healing, and dangerous weapon. Here you can see this place where they poured boiled olive oil on the enemy that tried to get through the gate to the wall, to the city. And of course, since they did not take so many baths as we do today, because of lack of water, they used to put on themselves perfume in the ancient times. And last thing that is so important is that olive oil is used to anoint kings and great priests. And we had this year the chance to see the coronation ceremony of the English monarchy. And here you can see King Charles that was anointed with olive oil from the Olive Mountain. And listen to the word Messiah in English, how similar it is to the word Mashiach in Hebrew. Limshoach means to anoint. The word Messiah is actually from the word Mashiach in Hebrew. When was the first time that we read about the tree in the Bible? Let's read the verses from the beginning of the book of Genesis. Let's see, who is he? He waited 7 more days and again sent out the dove from the ark. When the dove returned to him in the evening, there in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. Then Noah knew that the water had receded from the earth. He waited 7 more days and sent the dove out again, but this time it did not return to him. So at the beginning of Genesis, Noah and the flood, we hear first time about an olive leaf. And why actually the dove brought the olive leaf? Why this one and not any other tree? First, it's because, as we know, the olive tree meant actually that the people had everything they need: food, olive oil, perfume, lightning, all the important things in the ancient world. And it was also it is a short tree. It means that if the dove brought the branch, the flood had receded enough for the second humanity to start, for Noah to park the ark and take everybody out. It is also a very strong tree. It overcomes disasters and catastrophe. And first thing God created was light. And here, when the second humanity started, first thing is olive tree, olive oil, who enables light to be on earth. And it became a symbol of peace and freedom. And at the end, the dove preferred bitter fruit when the second time it did not come back to the ark. And freedom, then the suitable food and the snacks that Noah gave the animals in the ark. The olive oil was also used to light a very special worship tools, the menorah. In the Jewish Mishkan, the tent that escorted the Jewish people in the desert when they wandered, and then in the Jewish temple, the first one and the second. And the menorah is a very special, is a unique symbol of the Jewish people since it's very ancient. And since no other people have this. For example, the Star of David is only from last centuries, and it was used by other people, not only the Jewish people. What can we see a 2,000 years depiction of the menorah? If any one of you have been to Italy, to Rome, to the Roman Forum, we could have seen in Titus' Ark this menorah, but there it was a symbol of destruction. And you can see here the olive, small candles, olive oil that lit the menorah. And here we can see Titus' Ark. When the Romans came to the land of Israel, 1st century, they conquered the land and they spread the Jews, they exiled them. The Jews were not allowed to enter Jerusalem. They moved to the Galilee and to other countries. And many, many of them became slaves. And here we can see a convoy of Jewish slaves carrying the menorah from the Jewish temple, a symbol of humiliation and submission of the Jewish people. And see the menorah base, very special. Look at it and remember it. We'll talk about it later. And here is Titus' Ark. And did we, the Jews, remember the menorah hundreds of years after the destruction of the temple, when we had no temple? Yes, we did. During thousands of years in the land of Israel and the diaspora, Jews did not forget the menorah. We can see it here in the floor, a mosaic floor of synagogue, in Maon near Hebron, and in Hamat in Tiberias. We can see the three-legged base of the menorah. It's different than the base of the menorah in Titus' Ark. Remember that, we'll get to it. This is a very spiritual symbol, menorah, connected with the olive tree through the olive oil that light it and represent the spiritual light of the Jewish people. Do we have a menorah nowadays? We don't have a temple, so how can we have a menorah? Definitely we have. Yes, we have. Where is this menorah? Before I'll answer, let's read together about from Zechariah, from the Bible, his dream, his vision. Then the angel who talked with me returned and woke me up, like someone awakened from sleep. He asked me, "What do you see?" I answered, "I see a solid gold lampstand with a bowl at the top and 7 lamps on it. with 7 channels to the lamps. Also, there are 2 olive trees by it, one on the right of the bowl and the other on its left. Okay, so where is our menorah nowadays? What do you say? It's the emblem of the state of Israel. At the year 1949, just 1 year after the establishment of the state of Israel, a competition was declared for creating the emblem of the state of Israel. And 2 brothers, Shamir brother, presented this beautiful, very exciting emblem. And in it, there is a menorah. And the base of the menorah, is it a 3-legged or is it a different base we just saw? It's the base from the menorah in Titus Ark, which actually represented the humiliation and destruction of the Jewish people. And they chose that base, that menorah, to represent the revival of the Jewish people as our subject for today. Olive tree from destruction to revival. And we can see it here in the menorah. And the 2 branches of olive oil, just like in Zechariah's dream, and the name Israel in it. Do we, the regular people, actually remember in our daily life the menorah? Yes. On every Shabbat evening, we lit candles reminiscent of the olive oil lamp, as you can see, and we'll come to Shabbat table later on. Another organization that uses olive branches in its emblem, and all the continents, all the world in the middle, the emblem of the United Nations. And United Nations was established at the year 1945 after World War II in order for the states not to talk with guns and death and battles and wars, but with words, sitting together in one room. And the olive oil, a symbol of peace and freedom. Olive branches, a symbol of freedom and peace, connected to the Noah and the dove and the Bible. And let's go back to the tree. How do we know the tree's age? Usually by counting the rings in the trunk of the tree, but not in the olive tree, because the older it gets, the hollow it becomes from inside. So we don't have actually rings in the trunk of it, but we have carbon-14 as an example of organic material that give us the result of the age. And here in the land of Israel, we have trees about 1,000 years old in Gethsemane in Jerusalem and Arab villages in the Galilee. They are the ancient trees in the world here in Israel, in Jerusalem and Galilee. How did it survive for so long? What kind of ability has this tree that it can overcome this catastrophe during hundreds of years? Well, the olive tree's special ability to produce new shoots from a seemingly dead trunk represent new life after destruction and the continuity of the generation. And that's the subject of our discussion. The Hebrew word for shoot is netzel, and from that word Nazareth, all these words are connected. A shoot let's read some verses from the Bible that speak about this ability of the tree. A shoot will come up from the stem of Jesse. From his root, a branch will bear fruit, Isaiah 11. And from Matthew, and he means Joseph, father of Jesus Christ, went and lived in a town called Nazareth, So was fulfilled what was said through the prophets, that he would be called a Nazarene. And last one from Psalms 122. Blessing and prosperity will be yours. Your wife will be like a fruitful vine within your house. Your children will be like olive shoots around your table. What a beautiful blessing. Look at it. Your children around your table, just like the shoots around the olive tree. And what about our modern life? The Bible deals a lot with new life springing from death and destruction. It's a major theme in the Bible. But today we also have it in Israel. The state of Israel commemorates every year the Holocaust Memorial Day, followed by the Memorial Day for the fallen soldier just a week later. And one day after the Memorial Day for the fallen soldiers and the victim of terror, a day after, we celebrate the Independence Day. We go from destruction to revival as a nation in our time. Just like we see in the olive tree and the menorah, we just talked about it. The olive tree is also one of the 7 species, the most important species in the land of Israel. People will bring them to the temple in our 3 festivals in ancient times. And let's read from Deuteronomy 8, talking, for the Lord your God is bringing you into a good land, a land with brooks, streams, and deep springs gushing out into the valleys and hills, a land with wheat and barley, vines and fig trees, pomegranates, olive oil, and honey. And we can see that the olive tree, is one of these 7 species. Their order in the verses is not accidental. It indicates their importance and coming to fruition. And the Bible talks a lot about agriculture because 80% of the people are farmers, and this was the most essential thing in their life, their food, their survival. It's not only that the olive tree is one of the 7 species, it's also one of the 3 most important species. The wheat, the grain, the olive oil, and wine. And let's read from Deuteronomy 11, very important verses. We have them in every step in our life. So if you faithfully obey the commands I'm giving you today, to love the Lord your God and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, then I will send rain on your land in its season, both autumn and spring rains, so that you may gather in your grain, new wine, and olive oil. And this is actually the agreement between God and the people of Israel. And why? Because we don't have a Nile, a river that we can count on a stable supply of water. Our agriculture is dependent on the rain. And rain means God, sky, believing in superpower in God. And here God said it will bring, if we fulfill the agreement and love the Lord and obey the commandments, he'll bring the rain in its season. It's so important it will be in its season for the plants and trees to grow. And we can see that these 3 species are represented in the Jewish temple in ancient times. Here we have a depiction of the Jewish temple in the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Here's the temple and the big plaza. And here is the bread, the wheat, that symbolizes the wheat and barley. And here we have the menorah, symbolizing the olive oil. And here the altar on which they threw the wine, the three most important species. And not only in the temple, now we don't have temple. We have the three of them, they are represented in our Shabbat table, as I told you before. Here, Shabbat table, we can see the wine, we can see the candles, olive oil, and the lamp. And here we have the bread, the challah, that symbolize the wheat. Not only that, we have these verses in the mezuzah, in the door post, in every door in Israel and the diaspora in Jewish places. We have them in the tefillin, the phylacteries in the box, so that we will remember this agreement between the Lord and the people of Israel. In Israel, the most common street name is Olive Street. And you can see it here in Hebrew, you see? Rehov Hazait. And at the anniversary, 120th anniversary celebration for the JNF, the Jewish National Fund, a competition was declared and the olive tree was chosen as the national tree in our time. I think I missed, wow, I missed a beautiful, I don't see it here. So, in conclusion, we talked about the importance of the tree, its unique ability to renew itself from catastrophe, its important role in the Bible and Jewish culture. Let's end our meeting with enlightening verses. Here I found what I was looking for, I just forgot the order. I would like to present you a very special menorah. It's very dear to me. This beautiful and very big menorah is located in front of the Israeli parliament, the Knesset. And it was contributed to the Jewish young state few years after the establishment of the state of Israel by the British people who were very satisfied of our democratic political system. And in this menorah, we have about 30 carved stories of the Jewish people from our culture. And in this branch here, we have 7 words from Zechariah 4 that we read just a few minutes ago. And in Hebrew, it is, לא בחיל ולא בכוח, כי אם ברוחי, אמר אדוני צבאות. 7 words against the 7 branches of the menorah. And in English, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord Almighty. And this is the spirit of the God and of the Jewish people and of Israel that have came over a lot of catastrophes and disaster. And one of the greatest, maybe the worst catastrophe in history, the Holocaust. And 3 years later, the Jewish people established a democratic, flourishing country, Israel. And we welcome this disaster that happened on the 7th of October. And I'd like to bless us all with the beautiful blessing from Psalms 128. May the Lord bless you from Zion. May you see the prosperity of Jerusalem all the days of your life. May you live to see your children's children. Peace be on Israel. Shalom al Israel, Am Israel Chai. Thank you very much.
Amen ve'amen. Thank you very much, Nava. It was wonderful. You can read your comment. You can write your comment on the chat, or unmute yourself and say them
Thank you, Nava. That was beautiful.
Thank you, Paula.
It was amazing. Thank you very, very much. It was very spiritual lecture, and you gave me a lot of inspiration. And thank you very much.
Thank you, dear.
Okay, so good evening to everybody. Let's hope it will be a quiet evening.
Yes.
And thank you, Nava.
Thank you too.
Thank you so much, Nava.
Thank you. Goodbye. See you again.